Ciao, I'm Mary Ann Esposito. Today on Ciao Italia, cooking with herbs.
Funding for Ciao Italia was made possible by
When was the last time you used fresh herbs in anything? Did you say I always use fresh herbs? Great, because fresh herbs really make a dish. And it's a lot better to use fresh than dried in most cases, except for oregano, which I'm always telling you about. And why is that? Because if you rub your hands along fresh herbs, smell your hands, you've got the oils of that herb. And that's what is going to make the dish. Dried herbs, when they're heated, lose all of that oil. So really, they don't have that much flavor. So I'm going to make a dish for you today, very simple. Actually, it's a tuna salad, but it has no mayonnaise, but it has herbs. So today, we're going to use tarragon. So this is fresh tarragon. You know, you can buy those little packets in the store, or you could grow a little pot on your windowsill, or if you have a garden, you should put tarragon in. And it has a peppery taste. So we want some tarragon, about 2 tablespoons, I would say. And then this is fresh thyme. I love this because, again, it has a little peppery taste to it. It's a very fine leaf. As you can see, it's a little harder to take off the stem. So I just kind of pick off those leaves. And I don't have to do anything to this. I don't have to crush it up. I don't have to mince it. It's all ready to go. But the tarragon, I do want to mince. So you want about 2 tablespoons of tarragon and thyme. You don't like these herbs? Okay, that's fine. You could use something else. Use parsley, use basil. I'm just giving you options here. So the thyme is fine. Don't have to do anything to that. So I'm just going to put it in a little bowl right there and just chop up the tarragon. And you know, herbs play such a huge role in a lot of Italian cooking. A lot of sauces are herb-based. Think about a walnut sauce with the parsley. That's very common in southern Italy. Think about basil sauce from Liguria, also known as pesto. So sauces do play a large role. So there is our tarragon. Okay, so now that we have that, we can work with the peppers. And for this, I'm going to use just sweet bell peppers. I've got 2 beautiful red ones here, but if you didn't want to use those, you could use yellow, you could use orange. So we want to cut the peppers in half, like that, and take out those seeds. Okay? Take out those seeds. I kind of tap it out. And this one too. 4 beautiful pepper halves. Now let me just clean up the decks here a little bit so that we can show you what happens next. Okay, now here is our tuna. So this is tuna in olive oil. You buy it in a can like this, see? Make sure you're buying tuna in olive oil. And you just, you want about a cup of tuna. See? You can see the olive oil over the top. Now just take it and put it in a bowl with the oil. Because remember I said there's no mayonnaise to this. So put it in there with the oil. And you want to just flake this up a little bit. See? Just flake it up with a fork. And then I'm going to add a couple tablespoons of olive oil to this, because I think it looks just a little dry to me. Needs a little bit more olive oil. So a couple tablespoons. That's good. And we're going to set this aside now because instead of mayonnaise, we're going to use pureed beans for this. Okay, so this can set aside. Let me show you what I mean about the beans. So here we have some cannellini beans. You can buy them in a can. If you want to buy them dried, you can, but then you need to soak them overnight and then cook them. So this is canned cannellini beans. And when you take them out of the can, you want to rinse them really well because, you know, there is a lot of salt on them. So we want about a half a cup of these beans to go in with our tuna. So about a half a cup. If you didn't want to use cannellini beans, you could use chickpeas for this. So there's a half a cup of the cannellini beans. What am I going to do with this? With this, I'm going to put in another bowl, a little bigger bowl, and I'm going to puree it. You could use an immersion blender. You could use just a regular blender. And it's pretty thick, so just want to get it pureed. Okay, let me just get the excess out of there because I don't want to waste anything. So there it is, all nice and smooth. Okay. And this we add to our tuna mixture. So that goes in pureed. And if you see if it's a little dry, well then you just add some olive oil. So now we mix this with everything, and we add those herbs. So here we have tarragon, we have thyme. It's a really healthy salad. We have a little salt. We have onion. So here we have a half of a red onion. Goes in for texture, taste, color. Look how pretty this is looking. And now we're going to add some lemon juice to this. We'll get it well mixed. And here is our lemon. Take that out and just squeeze it with a lemon reamer. That's enough. That's a big lemon. So I'm going to add some lemon to this, just like that, and mix this all around. Now, once we have it like this, well, now we can fill our peppers. So, let me show you how that goes. So you bring up your little pepper halves. Let me get another spoon. And you take some of this mixture and you fill the shells. See, pack it in there. Build it up a little bit. And these you could do ahead of time. Put them in the refrigerator. And then before you want to serve them, just before you want to serve them, bring them out and let them sit for about 15 minutes or so. It's easier to do with your hands, but I'm using a spoon today. I'm being good. I'm using a spoon. Really pack that in. Okay, then the last thing we need to do, let me put some more over here, is give this just a little topping of some pine nuts. So here we have some toasted pine nuts. Just put them over the top like that, see? And they are all ready for the eating. And believe me, those herbs really make a difference. We didn't use a lot of salt, so the herbs play a huge role in these beautiful stuffed peppers that you could have for lunch or for dinner. A nice fish dinner without having to cook fish. Parsley, sage, rosemary, but no thyme. And this is a recipe for people who have no time, T-I-M-E, because it goes together very quickly. These herbs are going to be mixed with boneless chicken thighs. Juicy, meaty, and they cook in a little time. So here we have our herbs again. And I'm going to take off the stems now, but you know, sometimes I use these, like when I'm making sauce. And I want to just chop up the parsley. I'm going to fold that up a little bit because it's a lot easier. Mince this up. And this dish is something that my family really loves, especially on a day when you don't have a lot of time. Because put the whole thing together, you pop it in the oven, 35 minutes later, it's done. So get those herbs mixed up. You notice that I am mincing up the herbs by hand and not using a food processor because I don't want to destroy the oils. And sometimes, you know, when you put things in food processors, the heat of the blade is not good for that, especially for things like dough. So I'm going to stick that right in here. This is the dish that I'm going to bake my chicken in. So you do all the clean things first. So you do this part first before you deal with the chicken. So here is the sage. And if you've never worked with sage, sage has the smell of the woods. It's very forestry. That's the only way I can explain it. It's a great herb that Northern Italians like to use. This is an herb that they actually deep fry, like in a tempura batter or a beer and flour batter, and then they serve it as an antipasto with just a little coarse salt over the top. So sage is great for that. It's also used a lot in stews, slow braised roasts. So there is our sage. That is exactly 2 tablespoons. So that goes in. And now we have delicate rosemary. So rosemary, you know, is one of those, it's the herb of memory. Did you know that? The herb of memory. So you want to take that right off the stem. And we're just going to give that a quick pass of the knife because it really doesn't need much. And I grow this in my garden, and then I bring my plant in the winter because I live in a cold climate, and you just can't, rosemary will not winter over. But if you live in a warm climate, of course, grows like a bush all over. So there's the rosemary. And we're going to give that, and everything is smelling just absolutely beautiful. Okay, so we want 2 tablespoons of rosemary. We want to get that stem out of there. If you don't like these herbs, you can substitute something else. You could use basil if you wanted to. You could use cilantro, but then it wouldn't really be Italian, would it? All right, and there we have the three musketeers of the herb department. So now I want to clean this off. Yeah. And wipe up that board. Keep things clean in the kitchen. Okay, now we need also the zest of a lemon. So get yourself a little zester and zest your lemon right in there. Love this tool. I always say there are 2 things you need to have in your refrigerator at all times: lemons and a wedge of Parmigiano Reggiano cheese. You can do a lot just with those 2 ingredients. Okay. This is just taking the zest off, not the pith, because the pith, the white stuff underneath, is much more bitter than the zest, so you just want the zest. Okay, that's good. And now we want, a couple tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. This is becoming our marinade now. We need a smidge of salt because those herbs are going to do their work. We need a grinding of black pepper. And I like to use a grainy mustard with this. You can find grainy mustard anywhere, in the grocery store. Or you could make your own. If you go to the Ciao Italia website, we actually have a recipe on how to make grainy mustard. Okay, so you mix this all around. See? Just get it mixed really, really well. And I'm using the same dish that I'm going to bake the chicken in, saving myself another dish to have to clean. All right, so that's all ready. So you've made the marinade. You just set that aside. Now, folks, we must do a surgical procedure. Put on my surgical chicken gloves. Okay. I'm going in. So we want to get the chicken thighs. Here they are. Okay. Cold, fresh, nice and plump. And the first thing we want to do is put down one of those plastic mats that you use for raw meats. This one is for chicken. And you take it and you put it on the mat. Look how beautiful these are. These are boneless. Boneless chicken thighs. And they're just really good. They're inexpensive too. They're not real expensive. All right, so there they are. And now we want to pat them dry. I just put a paper towel over them because you want the marinade really to stick. Now, you could get this whole thing ready at this point. We're going to put them in the pan, and you could refrigerate it until you're ready to cook. So now, and by wearing the gloves, of course, prevents me from having to go wash my hands. All right, so now we take these. Let me show you how this goes. We take these and we put them right in there, kind of upside down. Skin side down, rather. Your oven is on at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. So once they're like that, I just kind of massage them a little bit, and I turn them over several times in that marinade. Okay? All those herbs, spread it around. This is why it's good to wear the gloves, because then you keep your hands clean and you have a little bit more control with that marinade. So each one, I tell you, that mustard with this is really, really good. It just kind of spices this whole thing up. It's so easy. There. That's all there is to it. So we're going to put this in the oven, 350 degrees. And take these off, because now I have clean hands. And we're going to bake this at 350 for about 35-40 minutes, or until an instant read thermometer registers 165 in the thickest part of the meat. And while that is baking, we're going to make a really luscious fruit salad with herbs. So here's mint from my garden. This is actually spearmint, and I use it for a lot of things. I use it with lamb. I use it in some pasta sauces. I use it in some cream sauces, but I also use it in desserts. So we're going to start out with melone. So here's a beautiful cantaloupe. Let me tell you a little story about when you go to the store to buy a cantaloupe. So when you do, you see how there's all this fine netting over the cantaloupe? You want to make sure that that's uniform. It's all over. If you have some spots that there's no netting, that's a telltale sign that that's not the best cantaloupe for you to buy. So you want to make sure the netting is uniform all over the melon. And the other thing you want to watch out for is any cracks in a melon. You don't want any cracks, because cracks could breed bacteria, and that would be a huge no-no. So you get the melon home, you wash it really well, and now we're going to cut it in half. And you know, with melon, it's always just, you know, luck of the draw. You don't know how good it's going to be. You can't just, oh yeah, that's a good one, or that's a good one. You just don't know. What develops a melon's really great taste is the sugar. So if the sugar content is good in the melon, you know the melon's going to be good. So you see all those seeds? We got to get those out of there. So you take a spoon and you just go around all of that seed work there. Take it out, see? Make sure you get all those seeds out. I'm going to take this seeds out of this one. Now you have options for this salad. Oh, that's pretty good. You can either cube it, make cubes, or you could use a little melon baller like this. See, let me show you how that works. So you go down into the melon, you go all the way around, and you bring up a beautiful looking ball. See, like that. And I'm going to add it right here. So you just keep making those balls until you have 2 cups. Here are our melon balls, or you could just cube the melon if you wanted to. So we're going to add some grapes to that, any kind you want, a cup of grapes. We have 2 cups of melon of each melon. Here we have our thyme and mint. And we're going to give this a grinding of nutmeg at the top. And some honey, some warm honey. So that's about 1/3 of a cup of honey goes in. This makes a really nice, healthy dessert. And then you just gently mix all this. See? Whoops. Mix it all together until everything is well coated. Did I tell you that mint was the original toothpaste for the ancient Romans? Yeah, that's how they sweetened their breath, because obviously there were no electric toothbrushes, and mint did the job. So they would use mint to freshen their breath. Clever, very clever. All right, once this is all well mixed, and the colors are pretty, then you get out a pretty dish like this one. Get it all in there. Add yourself a pretty little mint leaf. That one's got a hole in it. Over the top. And you've made yourself a really pretty dessert that's healthy, tastes good, fun to make. So there you have it, cooking with herbs. Need a great idea for a quick supper? I've got them right here, because today we cooked with fresh herbs. Remember, we made these stuffed peppers with tuna and cannellini beans and fresh herbs. It's great as a starter course or as the whole meal. And then we made chicken with herbs. Remember, we used parsley, sage, rosemary, but no thyme, and it's all ready for eating. And to end the meal, how about a beautiful fruit salad with a variety of fruits, melons and grapes, and a little warm honey and some mint. Delicious. And until I see you nella cucina again, I'm Mary Ann Esposito. Ciao!